Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, maybe the Zaporizhzhya Nuclear Power Plant issue will come to an end, and the end would be a Russian army leaving it. Well, obviously when or if that's going to happen, the Ukrainians will hail that as a success on their part by driving out the Russians. It will not be considered an act of goodwill or anything like that, as probably, could be interpreted like that. It depends on how they live. I don't know how could you drive them out. If you stay over there, you leave your military, how are you going to attack them? I mean, it's kind of like the Russians have to agree to leave in a way that, if we don't want to leave, we will never leave this place. We're going to always have a unit here or units here that could always blackmail the situation. You know what I mean. So let's see who's saying what. This article comes from the Jerusalem Post and it is from today, November 27th, 2022. Ukraine nuclear boss says he sees signs Russia may leave occupied plant. Well, that's good news, isn't it? It says the head of Ukraine's state-run nuclear energy firm said on Sunday there were signs that Russian forces might be preparing to leave the vast Zaporizhzhya nuclear power plant, which they seized in March soon after their invasion. Such a move would be a major battlefield change in the partially occupied southern Zaporizhzhya region, where the front line has hardly shifted for months. Repeated shelling around the plant has spurred fears of a nuclear catastrophe. Shelling by whom? I would like to know. Well, we know who. I mean, if I have this one and you want it, that means you attack me. No? Yeah. And I'm quoting, "In recent weeks, we are effectively receiving information that signs have appeared that they are possibly preparing to leave the plant." Now, listen to these words. In the recent weeks, we are effectively received information that signs have appeared that they possibly. There's three uncertainties. But anyway, as I always say, there's no smoke without fire. So maybe there is something and we don't know it yet. Firstly, I'm quoting it. Firstly, there are a very large number of reports in Russian media that it would be worth vacating the plant and maybe worth handing control of it to the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, he said, referring to the United Nations nuclear watchdog. One gets the impression they're packing their bags and stealing everything they can. Well, how come they steal their reactors? They should steal their reactors. Russia and Ukraine, which was the site of the world's worst nuclear accident in Chernobyl in 1986, have for months repeatedly accused each other of shelling the Zaporizhzhya reactor complex, which is no longer generating energy. What do you mean they accused one another? As I explained again, I took control of this objective from you. Why would I shell it? Just because I'm a bad person? Well, that's not an argument, you know what I mean? I mean, you're a bad person too. We all are, more or less. Okay, so if we go, you want it back. So obviously you shell me. Why should I shell myself? So anyway, they keep saying this stupidity. Why? They think by repetition, they just, anyway, use Pavlov on us. Asked if it was too early to talk about Russian troops leaving the plant, Kotin said on television, "It's too early. We don't see this now, but they are preparing to leave." End quote. And I'm quoting again, "All of the Ukrainian personnel are forbidden to pass checkpoints and travel to Ukrainian-controlled territory." Why? You know why. Necessary protective measures for nuclear facilities. The IAEA chief met a Russian delegation in Istanbul on November 23rd to discuss setting up a protection zone around the plant, Europe's largest, to prevent a nuclear disaster. Zaporizhzhya used to provide about a fifth of Ukraine's electricity. Russia's RIA news agency quoted, this is just moving up and down now. I usually take pictures of this and then I just look at the picture so nobody can interfere, but these guys are moving now up and down. So Russia's RIA news agency quoted Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov a day after the meeting as saying a decision on protection zone should be taken fairly quickly. Ukraine this month recaptured the southern city of Kherson and a chunk of land on the right bank of the Dnipro in Kherson region that lies to the east of Zaporizhzhya province. On Friday, the UN nuclear watchdog said Ukraine's 3 nuclear plants on the government-held territory had been reconnected to the grid 2 days after a Russian missile barrage forced them to shut for the first time in 40 years. So, what do you think? Will the Russians leave? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say because I don't know how much energy it produces for Ukraine and how much it produces for the Russian Ukraine. Let's put it this way. So if it produces a big chunk of the energy, Zaporizhzhya, for the Ukraine, the country that is right now, without those territories that Russia got, then I don't see why you don't say, okay, just take it, fuck it, it's yours, whatever. It's easy to say and gets out of all this BS. Now, if a big chunk, and doesn't go a lot of energy to these portions here, they say, well, we can, I think they already did, attach that or hook it to the Russian power grid, and they say, we don't need you, and we're not criminals, and we're not this, and we're not that, so you can take it back and shut the hell up. I'm assuming that could be the whole thing. Or could be extra to that obviously we don't know yet, like I give you this, you give me this. This kind of thing. Well, we'll see. After they get it back, will the Russians now do what the Ukrainians did? Or it's going to be all quiet over there? Or is the Ukrainians going to become logical all of a sudden, and these articles will become logical in reporting what actually happens, and that is, well, the Russians are attacking us. We're just defending our plant. Is this what's going to be? You know what I mean? So right now they say they don't know. They're both, somehow they're both hitting it. Even the guys who are controlling it, they're hit themselves. Now, that's illogical and stupid. But when this is going to be passed to the Ukrainian side, and if someone's going to shoot over there, do you think they will apply the same logic or illogic? Hey, they're both shooting at one another. I fucking guarantee you, they're going to say the Russians only shoot at the power plant and we're just defending. We're not doing anything. Why would we? We owe it. We'd own it. They're going to use the right logic when it's about them, but they're not going to use the logic when it's about the other ones. I hate these kind of things. I would smack those guys around who even write this kind of shit. But anyway, this is how it goes. And the people wouldn't believe me. There are people out there, a lot of them, and they vote, and I always go to voting, and they vote, who really don't see anything wrong with what I said. They don't see it, how illogical it is to say that the Russians are bombing themselves over there. Or if you would say, well, they shoot from there, that's a different story, but they don't shoot the power plant. From outside, someone shoots them. Who's that outsider? But when the Ukrainians going to take over and the Russians going to go on the other side, will take the current Ukrainian role, and if they will start shooting, they will all become logical. Yeah, they shoot. Why should we shoot ourselves here? But now that logic doesn't function. I hate these kind of things, and I hated it for so long when I was reading the news before all this ability to tell your side of the story or the side of the story to complete it, you know, because what I'm saying right now is not, oh my God, it's forbidden, or it's not, it's just pointing out how weasel these guys are. That's all I'm doing right now. I'm saying these guys are like this, and I bet there's going to be the other way around because I saw this before. But before you couldn't do anything because you had the newspaper, you had the five big media conglomerates, and they will give you whatever they want. And you can say, hey, that's not true. How about that? You were arguing with the television or with the newspaper or with your little article that you were reading. You couldn't argue back. You could say, hey, that's a fucking bullshit, weasels. And now that's why they are upset with this medium that we can use. Because we call them out. And there are people who watch this and say, what the hell? That's the only problem. If they could, they would just this thing here. And they're working on it. They're not like, oh, we lost. No, they're working on it. They still have a lot of money, a lot of influence to pay the weasels that we elect to represent us. Let's get the 24 Capricci of Paganini. How about that? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.